Gentlemen and female gentlemen, we are here, buckled in, locked in, and ready for another lore dive. As you know, I, Lord Nuxanor, will consume all lore. All lore will be consumed. It all goes in the big Nuxalore tier list. It helps me out for projects I am working on, and it helps you out with learning the lore of everything of all time. So, we have been on a bit of a tear recently. We've been jumping into everything from Journey to the West, Black Myth Wukong lore. We've covered Game of Thrones, Elden Ring. Every bit of lore in existence is gonna be consumed. So, one of the most highly requested franchises for lore dives ever, Lord of the Rings. So, this channel Invicta just dropped a video, a year ago, made a video, what is the history of Middle-earth? And I believe this is covering, as a lore documentary, the story of Middle-earth from the creation to the rise of Numenor. I have no idea what that is, because I, filthy plebeian, read the f***ing books and watched, a very long time ago, I don't really remember the books, and watched the movies, also a pretty while ago, but I watched the movies, and that's my experience with Lord of the Rings. It's my favorite movie franchise of all time, but that said, I think this is a lore dive of the entire history of Middle-earth from the very, very beginning, the creation of everything, all the way up until kind of the age of the current era of the ring and shit. So, let's do the lore dive. 10,000 likes, and we will be doing a lore dive on the full life of Sauron. So the rise of Numenor is before the Lord of the Rings movies.
The events of the War of the Ring were set
Alright, 10 out of 10 quality of this video. Fucking masterpiece. Holy shit.
in motion long before the Third Age. Before the realms of men.
Wait, what?
Before the awakening of the elves.
Wait, what? When they said lore dive from the creation, we're talking about the Big Bang? Tolkien really created the Big Bang in his history? God, this man, he'll give you fucking backstories to every tree branch.
Before the planting of the two trees.
The fuck are the two trees?
Before even the forming of all that is. In the beginning, there was only Eru Ilúvatar.
Is this Lord of the Rings? Wait, what? Wait, hold on. Is this Lord of the Rings? I have no idea where I am. You heard of A Song of Ice and Fire? Well, hold on to your pants. Wait, what? Tolkien's goal was to make a modern myth, and he succeeded. Holy shit. All right, I'm ready. I'm fucking locked in. Let's go.
It was he who gave rise to creation. And
this is God. This is the God of the Lord of the Rings universe? Like, does he exist? Is this just a theory? Is this a religion?
In those first moments, shared with his angels a vision of all that would come to pass.
Angels! I'm baffled. I'm a little gobber fucked right now.
Today we shall sing of these events and join in their chorus to bring the great themes of Tolkien's world to life. Welcome to the Second Age.
Okay, all right.
You can get introduced to the fascinating history of real and imagined civilizations through our sponsor, Wondrum.
No!
Wondrum offers more America's you are most interested in. Enjoy.
Yeah, definitely subscribe for more lore dives, because your mind is gonna get expanded in this video, I can tell. And it will be expanded in future lore dives. We are fucking going hard. Ham deep, fisting the lore.
Middle-earth is but a small part of the world of Arda, which itself has taken many forms over the millennia of its existence.
Okay, I was under the impression Middle-earth was... Oh, it's the middle of the earth. It's like there's a planet and this is just like a continent. Okay, all right. Sure, I didn't even consider that, but all right.
The initial spark of creation...
Well, chat's saying, why are we starting at the Second Age? I don't know. I guess this is explaining the Second Age. What was the First Age?
...was provided by the transcendent, supreme deity, Eru Ilúvatar.
So Eru Ilúvatar is, he's God, right? He's God in the world of Lord of the Rings. Whether he exists or not, I imagine is up to debate in the modern era of Lord of the Rings, but dude's God.
It was he who first created the angelic spirits known as the Ainur, and who instructed them on the art of heaven's music. Through this process did each of them become aware of their own embodied themes.
Wait, why is chat saying that Middle-earth is a flat world? It's not a globe. Wait, Middle-earth doesn't take place on a planet? Tolkien, you mad lad! Bro, why? Why would he do that? Okay. The first age in Lord of the Rings is the angels and God. All right, so maybe we'll do a deep dive into that later.
And those of their kin. Next, Ilúvatar proposed to the multitude that they work together to elaborate upon a grand theme. Yet, as the chorus began their harmony, it was disrupted by the most powerful of the Ainur, he who arises in might, Melkor.
Wait, so Melkor is like Satan? I know that this isn't necessarily a parallel to Christianity or whatever, but it does kind of give the vibe that Eru Ilúvatar is God. You got the Ainur, which are the guys. The Ainur are the angels, basically. Melkor is like the fallen angel, like the Satan character, the one that rebels. Does Melkor become Sauron or something? Or is he like some sort of major bad guy?
Created with partial knowledge of his siblings' themes and the very thoughts of Ilúvatar, he developed an impatience with the others and a yearning to bring forth his own perceived ideas.
Oh shit.
Thus, the first three themes of the Ainu Lindalie collapsed into a cacophony, and others of the Ainur were corrupted.
Oh shit!
Finally, Melkor's loud, vain, and endlessly repeated themes were cut short by the issuance by the creator of one chord deeper than the abyss, higher than the firmament, and piercing as the light of the eye of Ilúvatar.
Wait, when he says the firmament, does he mean that there's like an actual firmament above the plane, the fucking flat world that they live on? Like the sky is like actually solid? Like this actually takes place on a flat earth? Like, are you serious? I thought you were memeing. Only Tolkien. Only Tolkien. Like, he'll go to these lengths to create a world like this. Holy shit.
Like a petulant child, Melkor was scolded. His rage only grew when Ilúvatar showed the Ainur a vision of how their great music could together bring about the birth, life, and death of the universe.
Nice.
In doing so, Melkor now realized that all his destructive attempts at independence were but an anticipated part of the grand scheme of Ilúvatar.
Classic Ilúvatar moment. The rebellion was all part of the plan. See, there's a very big difference in understanding who Satan is, like in many different religions. Like, for example, in Christianity, Satan rebelled against God and was punished by spending the rest of eternity in hell. Whereas in Judaism, for example, Satan was created by God to be a evil inclination for the hearts of man. Every time Satan does shit to make humans sin, it is literally part of God's plan that is his job that does give us free will. Our humanity's free will comes because Satan is hiding divination from us, for lack of better term. So it's interesting that it seems like in this Ilúvatar type world that the Lord of the Rings God shit is happening. It really seems like more Judaism Satan than necessarily more Christianity Satan. However, in Judaism Satan knows that he is working in service of God, whereas in Christianity Satan is rebellious. So it really kind of seems like some sort of in-between state, where this Melkor guy, on the one hand, he doesn't necessarily love and serve and revere God, Ilúvatar, but at the same time, he is definitely, and his rebellion is definitely part of Ilúvatar's plan. So it's really in this interesting gray zone that makes a really interesting character, all in all. Okay, I like this. This is why we do the lore dives. This is a new concept to me, and I love that.
When the vision ended, the Ainur were left with but faint memories of what had been shown. Even still, all were enraptured by the prospect of bringing it to life.
right.
At this point, Iluvatar called forth from the void Ea, all that is.
Wait, so is this a bubble with a flat Earth on it? This isn't a planet? This is a bubble with a... And this is everything in existence? There's no outer space in Lord of the Rings? In the universe that Tolkien created for Lord of the Rings, there is no outer space. It's a sphere of air or whatever with land on it. Oh my god, dude. This is crazy world building.
And gave the Ainur the ability to descend into the unformed universe. Thus, Arda bubbled with activity. The most powerful of the Ainur, known as the Valar, had the greatest hand to play in its transformation. Chief among them were Manwë, Ulmo, Aule, and Melkor.
Wait, so Melkor ended up joining forces with the rest of these, the Valar, with the rest of these angels, for lack of a better term, to create the world that the Middle-earth exists in. Okay.
Through their efforts and the support of lesser Valar, known as Maiar, did a primitive Earth take form.
Let's go!
But as had occurred with Heaven's chorus, not all of creation was concordant. While most of the Valar and Maiar worked to prepare the world for the foresung coming of the children of Iluvatar,
which would be gods, God's children. That would be humanity, the elves, the dwarves, those gamers.
Melkor strove to counteract them, precipitating the first war of the universe.
Oh shit!
It is as a result of these struggles that Arda took its first form, with the Valar settling in Aman to the west and Melkor settling in Middle-earth to the east.
Wait, so the whole story of Middle-earth takes place in Melkor's domain? Wait, so what's all going on in the west? Is the west some sort of paradise?
At this point, the world was cast in darkness until the Valar Yavanna sung into existence two light-giving trees, Silver Tapirion and Golden Laurelin. Together, they illuminated the lands of Aman.
I can't believe that I literally don't know anything that they're saying right now. I have watched the movies multiple times. I probably remember 50% of the dialogue by heart. This is my favorite movie franchise ever. How the fuck do I not know any of this shit? Chat's like, Cimmerillion! Cimmerillion! What the fuck is a Cimmerillion? This is why we do the lore dives. This is why we do the lore dives. We consume all lore, baby!
This began the first year of the trees, and yet it was far from their light that the first children of Iluvatar awoke over 1,000 years later.
Elves!
Upon the shores of Lake Quivinen in the east of Middle-earth,
yes.
The elves.
Elves! Let's freaking go! God! Yes! Yes! The primordial dudes. The gamers. And I guess at the end of Lord of the Rings, when Bilbo and Frodo take a journey to the west, they go to the land of the other guys.
Stirred to life.
The Silmarillion is the history of the elves. Cool.
With only the stars to grant them vision, they began to take their first steps in the world, maturing in terms of survival, culture, and language. The first age had begun.
So that's the first age. So we're not, when it comes to the first age, we're obviously not referring to what's going on with the gods and the demons and all that shit, right? That's not important. When we say ages, we're referring to the ages of sentient life on the planet, physical life.
Melkor was the first to discover them.
Wait, discover them? How are they created? Who created the elves? They weren't these angel guys? Like, it was actually Servitor, whatever his name is? That actual god guy created the elves?
Some were captured or slain, while the rest were driven into hiding.
Oh my god.
Eventually, they would be discovered by the Valar, who now waged a war upon Melkor to protect these firstborn.
So Melkor found the elves as the first beings that got created by God, and Melkor was like, oh fuck yeah, we're gonna murder them and enslave them. That was this man's first plan after seeing all this shit. And then obviously the Valar were like, no way.
Four of the powers saw the great hosts of both sides clash in a titanic battle, which eventually saw Melkor captured and brought back in the chains of Angainor to be imprisoned in the halls of Mandos within Valinor.
That makes sense.
Peace returned to Arda.
Let's go.
The elves were now invited to join the Valar in the light of Aman. Many went willingly.
Wait, so when the elves were going to the west at the end of the Lord of the Rings, there are two great elven settlements, one in Middle-earth and one on the west side, the Valar area. So there were already elves living there before the story of Lord of the Rings?
Yet others remained behind, in fear of the terrible power which had been unleashed in the war. This sundering of the elves would be a defining moment for all the descendants of Ilúvatar's firstborn. Those who stayed behind under the stars were called the Morroquendi, or the Elves of Darkness.
Damn.
The Avari were those who refused the journey entirely. The Nandor were those who made it as far as the woodlands to the east of the Misty Mountains. And the Sindar were those who stopped in the coastal regions of Beleriand.
Bro, there's so much fucking story here. This is so beautiful. Okay, so half the elves basically did travel to the west, and the other half the elves started settling Middle-earth as like the first beings that kind of live there.
Those who made it all the way to Aman were known as the Calaquendi, or the Elves of Light. They included the Vanya under King Ingwe, the Noldor under King Finwë, and the Falmari under King Olwe.
Nice.
Over the following years, the elves, blessed with natural fortitude and immortality, would begin to populate their respective corners of...
Yeah, understandable. Literally immortal beings, right? Elves don't die, okay? And why would there be wars? Melkor is locked up and everything, in the chains of Schmiggleflay, and we're all good. So, dub, we take those. So, the elves are awesome, basically. What the fuck changed? Did Melkor break out? Where did the other races come from?
Arda. They sired great lines, built large cities, and developed impressive cultures.
Damn.
The elves of Aman did so under
The elves were legendary. They were immortal. They were beings of incredible wisdom, culture, and hentai. So much hentai. They were the birthplace of hentai, and where hentai is today. Ah, the elves.
direct guidance
Erect. I'm sorry.
of the Valar, and thus rose to the greatest heights. Soon, they would be joined in Arda by the awakening of the dwarves.
It's interesting that it calls them awakening. What does that mean? God just spawns another race into the universe? Like, is that how they awaken? But to be honest, I'm not saying this from a racist place or anything, but it's kind of understandable-ish that from the perspective of the elves, this incredibly advanced society, super duper mega advanced society that built all these cultures and language and all that shit, they see dwarves as animals. Like, they are less intelligent, right? I guess. They're not immortal. They're not as cultured. And they're like, oh, animals. Like, damn, it's kind of wild to think about it that way. But remember, for these guys are brand new when they already have this massive culture. Like, what makes dwarves any different than anything else?
Whose 7 fathers would go on to serve as kings of their respective clans.
Nice.
However, this period of peace and prosperity would not last. 300 years after his capture, a repentant Melkor would be pardoned by the Valar.
Oh, shit. Wait, so what's surprising me here is the Valar are still around? They are living in Middle-earth, or whatever, the West. They are living in this world. First of all, why the fuck would they let Melkor out? Repented. But second of all, These are angels living among man. Like, damn.
But
I mean, not man. Man's not around yet.
no sooner had he been released than his hands turned to mischief.
What do you mean? You mean that rehabilitating rapists and murderers doesn't actually change them into just being good guys? Wow, I didn't consider that. You mean that when someone's a rehabbed pedophile, you still don't like them? That's crazy.
This time, however, his methods of ruination proved more subtle.
Oh shit.
Taking the form of an elf, he mounted a campaign of whispers and manipulation, which brought about dissent among their ranks.
Oh my fucking god, bro was locked in prison for 300 years and he realized, why the fuck should I start attacking them and murdering them when I could instead whisper evil shit into their ears and stir rebellion?
As
We all know propaganda is the most dangerous weapon.
hostilities grew, brother turned on brother, and many even grew distrustful of the Valar. In response,
God.
a grand banquet was called to
In response, food!
mend the peace.
This is like classic Jewish religions. If you want to know, Jewish holidays. If you want to know what every Jewish holiday is about, it's they tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. That's basically every single Jewish holiday. So Melkor out there, we whisper shit into their ear, we eat food. Bro was the Palpatine of Middle Earth, the Twitter before Twitter.
However, at this precise moment, Melkor now made his move openly. Together with Ungoliant, spawn of the Void, the pair drained the life of the two trees of Valinor, plunging the world into
Is
darkness.
that a big spider?
The assailants then sacked the city of Formenos, plundering its treasures, slaying Finwë, and escaping to Middle-earth with the precious Silmarils.
Oh my god. Wait, so he killed who is Finlay? An elf king or one of the Valar? God damn it. He plunged the world into darkness, literally, by extinguishing those two trees. So wait, so in all these years, the elves were really at peace? There was never like a major elven war until Melkor came in there to fuck shit up?
Feanor, eldest son of the slain Finwë
Alright, so Finwë was one of the elf kings.
and creator of the Silmarils, now pledged an oath of vengeance and led the Noldor in a campaign against the Dark Enemy. This would be a pivotal moment in history.
Yeah, this is the first time in history that, it's not that people are picking up arms. People are picking up arms and preparing for war. This isn't just Melkor. He coked them into that shit. Melkor is the Nux of fucking world, just causing chaos. How dare you!
At first, the Valar refused to intercede, leaving the elves to mount the offensive themselves. The bullheadedness of their advance led to many tragedies, such as the kinslaying of Aquilon.
No! There's never fantasy lore without kinslaying. If there isn't kinslaying, it's not fantasy lore.
Where the Telfari were slaughtered in the hasty process of commandeering their vessels for the journey.
Wow, that's classic fucking, I guess, humanity, right? For the lack of better term. I mean, they're elves, they're not humans. But still, the idea of you kinslay to steal their shit to declare war on someone else because they did something wrong to you. Like, this is the most ultimate and classic beginning of some sort of cycle of violence. And now, because of this kinslaying, the Noldor remainders are going to be upset at the freaking Finlay guys, and now they are going to want to fight them, and they want to fight Melkor, and this puts the whole world into fucking chaos. And it's a cycle that really never is ever going to be broken. And the only solution? Genocide. Not an ethical solution, but it's a solution. Obviously, that's not going to fucking work. God damn. See, the difference between Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings has kinslaying. Game of Thrones is kinlaying.
This gravest of sins would stain the expedition. As it sailed to Middle-earth, the Valar passed...
They're not just anymore, right? They are not just. They killed their brethren to steal their ships to fight with Melkor. They have been tainted.
Judgment upon them in the doom of Mandos. Tears unnumbered ye shall shed, and the Valar will fence Valinor against you, and shut you out, so that not even the echo of your lamentation shall pass over the mountains. On the house of Feanor, the wrath of the Valar lieth from the west unto the uttermost east, and upon all that will follow them it shall be laid also. Their oath shall drive them, and yet betray them, and ever snatch away their very treasures that they have sworn to pursue.
Oh shit.
To evil end shall all things turn.
That's what happens. It's ultimately a pure and utter guide to evil. And then there's no way out. It's a fucking trap, and it'll keep pulling people down. Ultimately, all Melkor really needed to do was to get one elf to fall into chaos. And it'll just make a domino effect. And evil will be the end for everyone.
That they begin well, and by treason of kin unto kin, and the fear of treason, shall this come to pass. The dispossessed shall they be forever.
Goddamn.
Upon hearing this, some elves returned immediately to seek repentance, while the remainder of the Noldor pressed on. Terrible woes accompanied their journeys, and the conflict to defeat Melkor soon spiraled into the multi-century War of the Jewels.
Oh my god. Bro literally caused so much of a rift and chaos that he got the Noldor to kill some of their brothers to steal their boats. The Valar wanted the Noldor to come back, which only divided the Noldor further. And the rest of the Noldor entered a 1,000-year war trying to beat Melkor, but ultimately making enemies with every other elven population. Bro, this man's a fucking demon. Holy shit. Bro makes Sauron look like a kitty cat.
During this time, many new kingdoms would be formed by the elves, as well as by the men, who
Yo, let's go, the men! Woo!
In the year 50.
Diversity hires! The men are the DEI hires of the world of Middle Earth.
1800, alongside the creation of the sun and the moon.
Nani? What do you mean the creation of the sun and the moon? Oh, because there was no light. The light was from the trees. This is a world of actual literal darkness. Wait! When they said a world of darkness, they meant darkness. There was no light. Oh my god. It's a flat world. There is no sun and moon. They only created the sun and moon now. God damn, holy shit.
But the arrival of man was less than idyllic.
Why? Men are awesome. Men are great. The thing I like most about humanity is the fact that there are no wars, there's no racism, men and women are treated equally, and I also like the idea that the government doesn't fuck us, our friends don't fuck us, we are moral and virtuous, many other things about men. What else do men do? Yes, we care about things like boundaries, we care about consent. What other things do men care about? Boobs, men care about boobs.
The firstborn, they had short lifespans and grew up in a time of quarrel.
They needed someone to make the elf hentai. God fucking damn it, Chad.
In this chaotic environment, many took the side of the elves, while others attempted to remain neutral or were corrupted by Melkor to join.
Say, this is me. Literally me, guys. There's a picture of me literally right here. Guys, look. Literally me, all right? We got joined the side of the elves. All right, we got lawful good. Get out of here. We got pure and utter evil and chaos. Shit, bullshit. Get out of here. And then we got neutral. Chaotic neutral. I take no sides. I simply laugh at the idiots everywhere. The Nux side. Definitely subscribe for more chaos.
On his side. The next 5 centuries brought with them convulsive periods of escalating violence between the various factions. In the darkest hours of the conflict, the hosts of Melkor brought ruin as orcs, bullrogs, plagues, volcanoes, and all manner of other forces were.
Yeah, dude, this guy was like, he's an angel. Melkor. He's not like Sauron. He's an actual fallen angel, or in some way. Dude is magic powers and shit on a whole other level. Dude created the orcs as an army literally to just go crazy with elves. And this was the birth of the elf x orc fantasy stories that have plagued the internet on certain websites for a very long time.
Unleashed upon the land.
Did you say Balrogs? Like plural? Like many Balrogs?
One by one, the kingdoms of men and elves fell. The enemy's dominion of Middle-earth was nearly complete.
Holy shit.
However,
Melkor.
the Valar would finally be persuaded
God,
to
these pieces of shit. See, this is the problem with pacifists and why pacifism is utter and absolute bullshit. Pacifism is cringe. That's gonna get me in fucking hot water. But guys, these guys were like, oh yes, we are pacifists. We will not be in trouble. We will be wholesome and peaceful. Everything will be wonderful. And then this happens. Melkor goes and fucks everyone over. And then they have to intervene anyway, or they are gonna get destroyed. So, guys, wouldn't it have been helpful if when the first group of elves went to fight Melkor, you guys would have helped? Right?
join the cause in what became known as the War of Wrath.
Yikes.
The battles which ensued over the
That's not Sauron?
following decades were the largest, bloodiest, and most destructive in the history of Arda.
Yikes.
Following the war's climax, Melkor would be utterly defeated,
Let's
beheaded
go!
by the Valar.
Oh shit, holy fuck. This time they were like, and Melkor's like, okay, you beat me, put me in chains. They're like, no, we are literally taking the head off of your fucking shoulders.
And thrust through the door of night into the void. In his wake, much
Into the void? They have a fucking interdimensional portal to put him in?
of the world was left in ruin as the entire landmass of Beleriand sunk into the sea. Though
Yikes.
tendrils of evil still survived, including Melkor's lieutenant, Sauron.
Bro is just a lieutenant of Melkor. So wait, so I don't understand. So why didn't the other guys, the dudes, the freaking Valar, why didn't they go and just finish off Sauron? Why'd they leave Sauron here? God damn.
And several of the Balrogs. They now
I didn't realize the Balrogs were like many of them. I thought it was just one random fire demon living in the fucking mountain.
retreated into the dark recesses of the earth. Likewise, many elves also withdrew from Middle-earth, sailing west to rejoin the Valar in Aman. Yet some of their kind remained behind to tend to the land alongside the races of men and dwarves.
Nice.
Thus ended the First Age.
Yeah, so the end of the First Age is a tragic yet utter victory for the good guys, for the light side of the Force. Ultimately, the Valar, pieces of shit, by the way, pacifists, patting themselves on the back while doing fucking nothing while all these people are suffering. The pacifists, like the Valar, let this war get this far out of hand. They let Melkor go because, Melkor repented. Yeah, all right. So, literally all their fault. Let's make ourselves fully aware of this. But despite the fact that they eventually stepped in, caused this massive war, destroyed half the continent, all that shit, ultimately, it was a decisive victory for the good guys. The elves split apart. Some of the elves, the dwarves, and the men are still living here in Middle-earth. Sauron is here by Mordor, just kind of doing his own shit, and the Balrogs are hiding in the ground, not really doing anything.
These are the histories recorded by the ancestors and those who still remember their passing.
Yeah, the elves are immortal, so they should remember this shit. I don't understand. In the story of Lord of the Rings, why didn't they be like, yo, can we send like a boat out from Rivendell or whatever it was called? Just go out there, call the Valar to help us out. Sauron is kind of going crazy.
Now, let us explore the world of Middle-earth in the Second Age of our time.
All right, so that was the First Age. The First Age was an age ultimately where the spearheads of the wars of the Middle Age were gods or demigods or angels or whatever.
Though scarred by the past, these lands have begun to heal. To the northwest lies the coastal region of Lindon. It is here that the High King Gil-galad rules over the elves and their important settlements of Harland, Forland, and the Grey Havens.
All right.
He is joined by Elrond, who acts as his chief captain.
Our Elrond? Our Elrond! I feel like Leonardo DiCaprio in that meme just pointing like I recognize somebody finally. This is the first freaking guy! This is the first dude that showed up! My guy, my dude, my guy! He didn't want to marry his daughter off to Aragorn, because honestly he's based. If I was Elrond, I wouldn't marry my daughter off to Aragorn.
And Herald. In days gone by, the elves had once lived closely alongside the dwarves of the Blue Mountains. However, their halls were destroyed during the sinking of Beleriand and now lay abandoned.
Damn.
To the east extends the weathered hill country of Eriador. Its lands are home to various tribes of middlemen.
Man! Woo! DEI hires, let's go!
Among them lies the elven kingdom of Eregion, which is ruled by Galadriel and Celeborn.
Hey, Galadriel! We know her! She's from the first Lord of the Rings movie and never any other spin-off shows ever. There was never a spin-off show about Galadriel. So I recognize her because she was in the Lord of the Rings movie and never a spin-off. That never happened. Like, if there would be a prequel, she probably would be there, but since there was never a prequel to Lord of the Rings, she never was here other than that, right?
From their capital of Ost-in-Edhil. Nestled against the foothills of the Misty Mountains, they maintain cordial relations with the neighboring dwarfs. Of particular note in this regard is the vast underground realm of Khazad-dûm,
Khazad-dûm.
later known as Moria.
The Mines of Moria! Wait, hold on. I'm just thinking of this now. But the Balrog that they find in the Mines of Moria, did they dig him up? Is that why he's kind of around fucking people up? Because they woke him? Because Sauron never summoned the Balrogs back for the battle. So technically, the Balrogs are all just kind of hiding under the ground. So, the Balrog, the one in the Lord of the Rings movie, the first one, the Fellowship of the Ring, that guy was probably woken up by dwarves that just found this relic of the First Age. Oopsies.
Ruled by Durin's folk. It is the most famed of all the dwarven realms, owing to its splendid halls, rich mines, and skilled craftsmen. Yet far below, beneath even the deepest holds, exist primordial caverns shrouded in perpetual darkness.
That sounds like some Balrog house.
And gnawed by nameless things.
Ooh.
Beyond the Misty Mountains lie the vast forests along the Anduin Valley. These had long been populated by the elven clans which had not made the original journey to Arman, and which now mingled to form the Sylvan Elves.
Nice.
Following the calamitous events...
Is that where, like, the Ents live and stuff? Yeah, where did the Ents come from? Where are the hobbits? Where are the wizards? Hold on, when did the wizards show up? The wizards didn't exist at all in the First Age? Alright.
Of the War of Wrath, they were joined by various elven refugees. Among them was the Sindarin Prince Orifer, who was soon made King of the Woodland Realm,
Nice.
and later Amdir, who was made King of Lorien. Around these regions of Ravanion exist yet more clans of men and enclaves of dwarves.
Alright.
Notably, the two have established symbiotic relations to resist the greater threat of orcs and Morgoth's creatures in the wilder regions. To the north stretches a vast chain of mountains, and beyond them the frigid wastes of Forodwaith, where strange folk and stranger beasts live.
Yo, unknown species! Bro, this just went from freaking Lord of the Rings to Monster Hunter World, and I am so here for it.
The east, meanwhile, is a wide expanse marked by the course of the River Running, which spills into the Sea of Run. Little is known of these lands beyond the hostility of the various tribes of man which fell to the influence of the Dark Lord.
And there we go, Mordor.
Turning south, one may follow the life-giving flow of the great Anduin River down into the Bay of Belfalas. Here, the regions of Calenardon and the White Mountains are sparsely populated, save for a few settlements and lingering bands of Druidane, while the coastal regions tempt new colonists from other lands. Further south lie the lands of Harad and Kand, which also boast tribes of men. These lie in the shadow of Mordor, whose volcanic lands have long remained uninhabitable.
Uninhabitable. So uninhabitable. I bet no one lives there.
But we would be remiss.
So that's Middle Earth, basically. So people are saying the wizards were the original Maya, one of the like sub genres of those angel people.
Not to extend our gaze beyond the shores of Middle Earth, for it is here, in the midst of the great sea of Belagair, that one will find the island of Eleanor.
What?
Following the calamitous War of Wrath, the Valar had seen fit to raise this new land as a gift to the houses of men who had aided in the defeat of Melkor.
Wait, what? Wait, why would they give the men the present? The elves literally did the entire thing. Well, the elves also caused half the problems, to be honest. So, all right. Men W.
Those who followed the Star of Earendil to take up this new...
The Balrogs are also those Maiar people? Wait, the Balrogs and the wizards are like the same species? Question mark? All right, well, I'm sure they'll explain.
Mantle were also granted extended life, along with increased wisdom and physical traits. They and their descendants would come to be known as the Númenóreans.
Númenóreans.
The kingdom of Númenor was first populated by a wide range of human refugees from Middle-earth. Chief among them was the half-elven Lord Elros and brother of Elrond.
Half-elven? Wait, so was he mortal? Damn, so Elrond had a half-elf brother. That's why he was so, against the idea of his daughter marrying Aragorn.
Who had chosen the life of a mortal.
God damn. This really explains the backstory for my guy Elrond a lot. Brother.
He was crowned Tar Miniatur in the new capital city of Armenelos in the year 32 of the Second Age. Over the following centuries, he would oversee the kingdom's flourishing. This was in large part made possible by the geographic and ecological gifts of the island. At its center stood the holy mountain Meneltama.
How have I not heard of Númenor? If it's such an important idea, where is it in the Third Age?
Pillar of heaven, which dominated the island. From its high, flattened peak, one could almost see the distant shores of Arman. And it would be from here that the kings of Númenor made their ritual worship to Ilúvatar. From its sides descended...
Dude, why didn't they worship Ilúvatar in the actual movies? Like, dude's God.
Rolling foothills which extended to the five-pointed peninsulas. The interior was rich in fertile grassland and bountiful woodland, which teemed with all manner of plants and animals. Their great wealth was owed to the nurturing of Valar Yavanna and the elves of Arman,
Let's go.
who brought many specimens found nowhere.
Aragorn mentions many times he's a descendant of the men of Númenor. Yeah, but bro, that's just a name! I'm not talking about like the magic freaking human island starfish in the middle of the ocean that was literally raised by angels for humanity because they were dope? Alright.
Else in Middle-earth. The coasts, meanwhile, were also bountiful sources of wildlife, while the
Dude, this video is fucking beautiful, by the way. It did such a freaking good job.
deeper ocean beyond hosted many great shoals of fish.
Fish.
Thus it was that the Númenóreans quickly flourished. Soon,
Until they didn't.
they had established major cities across the 5 districts of the island. Most notable among them was the capital of Armenelos.
Dude, I love how they're all called star. Like, this is a star-shaped island. So it's Forostar, and it's Orostar, and it's Hiarostar, and it's Hiarnostar, and it's Andustar. See, this is the genius of Tolkien. He was able to come up with some very, very interesting names for these different towns.
With its royal palace and vast structures reportedly wrought with the assistance of the Maiar. The western port of Anduini flourished in the early years as a host city for the arrival of elves from Arman, while in later years the eastern port of Romena would gain prominence as the Numenorians turned their gaze towards Middle-earth. Historically speaking, this would occur in the 5th and 6th centuries of the Second Age as the sailors of the island ventured further and further afield.
Damn, so this was a 600-year-old civilization at this point. That's pretty impressive.
Yet the Numenorians had been barred by the Valar from sailing west beyond the site of the island.
Wait, so humans were never allowed to enter the western continent? Ever? It was literally only for the Valar and elves? What is this racist shit? Bro!
Leaving their most enterprising captains to instead journey ever further in the opposite direction. Eventually, in the year 600, the first ship would reach Middle-earth.
Let's go.
This event set off a whirlwind of activity. Soon, more expeditions were launched. In the words of the lore master Pengalod, they sailed, quote, from the darkness of the north to the heats of the south,
Let's go.
and beyond the south to the nether darkness. And they came even into the inner seas and sailed about Middle-earth, and glimpsed from their high prows the gates of morning in the east.
Yo, that's so awesome. So they evolved. They developed technology. They were able to explore the Middle-earth. Dope.
The initial phase of this golden age of exploration saw the Numenorians establish colonies on the mainland and rekindle their ancient bonds of friendship with the men, dwarves, and elves their ancestors had long ago left behind. The exchange was at first quite fruitful, as these new high men were able to both instruct the ranks of their lesser brethren, whilst also learning much from the elves. The next phase of their involvement in Middle-earth, however, would prove transformative as they participated in the struggles against the rise of Sauron. Yet in their greatest moments of triumph...
So we're in the Second Age. This is the war at the end of the Second Age. So all the ages are defined by these massive battles versus the forces of Morgoth or Melkor, Sauron, whatever, same squad.
Came the seeds of defeat. The Numenorians, realizing they were unmatched in strength, now began to see themselves as the rightful masters of the land.
They evolved. They've learned racism, ladies and gentlemen. Let's fucking go. Character development. I am also unparalleled in fuckery. No.
They became more exploitative in their dealings with Middle-earth.
No. Why have they learned racism?
With eyes turned to greed and empire. They cut down endless forests and quarried vast mines for the construction of ever grander fleets and regal cities, whilst sailing home not just with gifts, but now tribute, taxes, and loot.
Wait, so Numenor became a fucking super country? It became like the IRS, where the people that were pillaging and becoming famous on Middle-earth were sending tribute back to the homeland of Numenor? Well, if that's not fit for some American revolution, I don't know what is.
But most pernicious of all would be the jealousy of immortality that they brought home.
Right, they come home and they're like, so, how is Middle-earth? And we're like, oh, Middle-earth was cool. We made lots of money. You know, there are these immortal elves.
To once again quote Pengalod, but the fear of death grew ever darker upon them, and they delayed it by all means that they could, and they began to build great houses for their dead, while their wise men labored unceasingly to discover the secret of recalling life, or at least the prolonging of men's days.
Oh God, the rings? Is that the rings?
This obsession grew ever stronger with each passing generation. Over time, it brought about resentment, distrust, and eventually outright hatred of the elves, and even
racism! Woo! You see, there's two types of racism. There's being racist because you think you are better than them, and there's being racist because you think they are better than you. Let's fucking go! We got all forms of racism in Tolkien lore.
Of the Valar, who would not cure them of their...
Dude, honestly, the Valar are pieces of shit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm Team Morgoth. I started off Team Valar. I am slowly but surely edging to Team Morgoth. Like, that dude, listen, he may be a chaotic asshole, but at least he's not also a holier-than-thou posturer.
Mortality. Such was the festering nature of this psychological wound that it would ultimately rupture the fabric of Númenorian society. Though wise and far-seeing leaders would attempt to right the ship, none were prepared for what was to come. I hope you've appreciated our exploration of the incredible works of Tolkien and found it useful as a primer for a deeper dive into the material.
Bro! Yeah, that was a sick primer. And then is the ultimate, the Age of the Rings, where 7 to the Dwarf Lords, 9 to the Age of Men, 3 to the Elves. But one ring to rule them all. And that's when that fuck happens. And that war goes down, and then we got the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Holy crap, that was awesome. Not quite yet, I'm a little ahead, but dude, that was good shit. That was really good shit. Invicta. This was the story of the Middle Earth, the first and second ages of Middle Earth. That was very enlightening. I had no idea about so many of these lore details. Well, aside from the greater story, I didn't know Morgoth was a thing. I thought Sauron was the fucking Dark Lord. I didn't realize that Morgoth was a guy and is honestly way cooler than Sauron. Sauron's like a lieutenant. All right. 10,000 likes. We do a deep dive on Sauron's entire history. I also have one that I want to do for Gandalf, and I'm down to do one for Morgoth too. They seem like the most interesting 3 characters to do deep dives into. So 10,000 likes, and we will get there. Thank you for being here. Enjoy the lore dives, and stay weird, fan. If you made it to the end, click one of these 2 videos, which also will definitely get me canceled. See you live on Kick. Stay weird, fan.